accounting, succession planning, and more. Nationally recognized by Forbes as one of America's best accounting and tax firms, yet local to the Midwest, we've got the knowledge and expertise to take your business to the next level. Go to sva.com/baseball to learn how we can provide your business with measurable results.
Here's a club you want to get into, Club Citgo. It's the super easy app that opens the door to great fuel savings and more. Sign up and instantly save 23 cents per gallon on your first fill-up, plus everyday savings that really add up. You can also enter our sweepstakes with multiple winners and giveaways, like free gas for a year. And Club Citgo makes paying easy with a convenient mobile pay feature. So welcome to the club where all the action is. Download Club Citgo today. Savings good up to 30 gallons, only at participating locations. Data rates may apply.
In baseball, players spend time in the minors before making it. That's not the case with union construction trades like the operating engineers. As a union apprentice, you earn good money while you learn a trade. And graduates from union apprenticeship programs earn 41% more than their non-union counterparts. They even earn more than a typical worker with a master's degree. So if you are ready to earn big league bucks, go to join139.com to learn more.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, John Mercure and Julia Fello.
All right, we'll talk Brewers baseball through the remainder of the show. But first, let's bring in our friend, the man, Tori Lowe, host of the Tori Lowe Show on 101.7 The Truth. Hey, it's always good to have you here. Mm-hmm. Milwaukee streets. They're in poor condition, and Tori, the reports are out that it's going to cost a lot of money to make these streets right. What do we know?
They're saying that 1,370 miles of streets are in poor condition in the city of Milwaukee. I believe it. And I believe it because there's a lot of potholes out here.
Yeah, there are.
In certain areas, you can just tear your car up trying to, get around some of these potholes. So,
yeah, I did a news story about the worst potholes in the city, and it was endless. Endless. $60 million a year would cost to keep up all of our roads.
Oh, wow. Well, I think that every time you look up, we're being taxed to the max.
That's true.
So I paid attention to this, and I'm looking at it, and they're saying that they are coming up with different ways to try to raise money. I mean, didn't we just get a 2% tax increase and then a referendum for MPS?
Thank you.
And, and so it's just, here we go with another thing. And I looked at this one, they said raise the vehicle registration fees. Didn't they just do that with the wheel
tax?
Yeah. They want to raise more money. They want to tax people more money. You raise a really good question. We just got more money from the state. They allowed us to raise the sales tax. Where'd that money go?
That's what I'm saying. So are we in a hole to, is all our money going into a hole, or can we use some of this money to help out with some of these extra things that we need
the sales tax is supposed to offset the pension debacle that's been going on for decades.
Oh, my goodness.
Then they're saying also they need more workers to repave the road, so they need even more money to hire more workers. Where's that money going to come from?
Every time I look up every year, it's another thing that comes out. Here we go. And the roads are terrible. First of all, it's causing a lot of citizens repair on car.
Yep.
Someone just texted.
Car repairs.
This is 15 years overdue, this story.
It's true. It's been bad for a long time.
Yes.
Isn't that a basic service? If you live in a city, you expect they're going to pick up your garbage, have the fire department if your house burns down, and have roads you can drive on?
Yes. I mean, that sounds pretty basic. Unless you're talking about the city of Milwaukee.
There you go. He's Tori Lowe. Check him out 1 to 4 on 101.7 The Truth. Tori, thank you so much.
Thank y'all for having me.
It is 4:15 at WTMJ. The latest on the NATO summit. That's up next, right after traffic and weather.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Most insurance accepted.
Traffic and weather then. Molly Nagel in Washington, D.C. How are we doing out there, Deb?
Well, we're starting off with an accident on northbound 4394 on the 9th Avenue on-ramp. Now, it looks like this one is just about ready to be cleared out of the way if it hasn't already. Just something to keep in mind. East and westbound on 94 heading past the stadium, yeah, it's going to be slow. Westbound slowing down from 25th Street all the way through the zoo interchange to the county line. On the eastbound side, we got some backups from 84th Street, pretty solid all the way through the stadium as well. And southbound 43 backing up from Capitol Drive all the way down through the Marquette to the KK River. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast tonight, scattered showers and storms, a low of 64. Tomorrow, more scattered showers, a high of 90 inland. On Friday, slight chance for rain, a high of 82. Saturday, partly cloudy, 83. Sunday, partly cloudy, a high of 89. It is currently 66 degrees. NATO summit is wrapping up. President Trump, the center of the world at NATO. He is the center of all the conversation. A couple big things happening there. Most of it was tied to defense spending, tied to GDP. But it seems like, Julie, what everybody's talking about is the comment where the guy in charge of the Secretary General of NATO referred to Trump as daddy. Let's bring in our friend Molly Nagel, ABC News White House reporter. Molly, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
So here, let's play this for you. This is Mark Ritke. He is the NATO Secretary General. Daddy has to be used sometimes. It's strong language, he said, talking about Donald Trump discussing the F word, saying, you know what? Sometimes strong language has to be used. This is what Mark said, and then I want to get your reaction to this.
He called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Molly, can you talk about this dynamic that we've seen played out on TV the last couple of days where Donald Trump is definitely appearing to be the alpha male in the room there?
I got to say, on my bingo card for NATO, the discussion of being called daddy was not on there at all. This was a rather odd moment. You heard the president there being asked about it during his press conference. This shows a little bit about how Donald Trump and how world leaders are reacting to him. We saw Trump, on his way to NATO, post some messages that he was sent from the NATO Secretary General, talking about just how much praise he was giving him, really shows how leaders are trying to deal with the president as they meet in this global forum. And it was really interesting to see Trump there addressing that on the world stage and, clearly leaning into the oddness of the moment.
He was also given a barrage of questions about the amount of damage done to the Iran nuclear sites. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, the president really did face quite a few questions about this during that press conference. It's kind of the topic du jour. He said that the U.S. is going to resume talks with Iran, but it continued to defend the U.S. strikes on Iran, saying that, this kind of dismissing this preliminary Pentagon report that it only damaged the facilities and set them back by months. He continues to argue that they were completely destroyed, that they were obliterated. The president really pushing back on that during this press conference, and as he faced these questions about the evidence to show for, his claim that these sites were in fact obliterated.
ABC's Molly Nagel is with us from the White House. So going into the NATO summit, Molly, everybody was talking about the top of the agenda is making sure that other NATO countries agree to spend on defense spending like the United States does. And by the end of this thing now, most countries have agreed to increase their defense spending to 5% of their GDP, which is what President Trump wanted. In the past, they've balked at this. Is this a reflection of President Trump's influence?
I think it could very well be seen that way. The Secretary General talked about, was asked if President Trump deserved credit for this, and he says, well, doesn't he deserve some credit? This is something that we've all heard President Trump talk about for quite some time, both in his first administration and since being back in office. And he really touted this during his press conference. He said it was a very big focus and a historic milestone, and said this dramatic increase of this 5% goal of GDP is something that no one really thought was possible. And that world leaders were saying, you did it, sir. But he thinks that this was obviously a very positive thing moving forward, and he was very eager to tout the success of this as he was getting ready to leave the conference.
And there's still a lot going on between the Ukrainian-Russian war. I heard that the president did meet with Vladimir Zelensky today. Do you know what happened?
Yes, we do know that the two met in the sidelines of the summit. We didn't actually see this meeting play out. This took place off cameras, but we have seen readouts from President Zelensky where he called it a good meeting, and he congratulated the president on his operations in the Middle East. And they also talked about the situation on the battlefield. In his readout, Zelensky says that Putin is definitely not winning. I presented the president with facts about what was really happening on the ground. And we did see kind of a remarkable moment from the president during his press conference where he spoke with a Ukrainian reporter.
Oh, yes.
And, asked her specifically about her experience and her family's experience being from Ukraine and where they were. And it was really quite a remarkable moment to see the president interacting and acknowledging the difficult situation that many in Ukraine and Russia are facing.
Yeah, she was living in Warsaw with her family, John,
right.
And then her husband's fighting the war, and she was asking about anti-missile defense weapons.
Yes, that's right. She the president, as she was asking this question, really tried to dig down on her story and her experience. But she asked this question, and the president, engaging with us and saying, he was wishing well to her family, and in particular her husband, who is still in Ukraine.
Molly, this comes amongst the backdrop of nations still trying to negotiate on the tariffs and favorable tariff situations. Do you see that play out indirectly with how leaders of other countries approach the president and are dealing with the president and making decisions maybe based on the broader picture of trying to make sure that their country's in a good light as negotiations go forward?
Well, it's really interesting. You would think that as he comes into this global setting with this tariff deadline looming in just 2 weeks, that would have been a big focus of this. But there's just so much activity going on in the world that, the tariffs kind of took a back seat here. But certainly that's something that you have to imagine world leaders are keeping in mind when they're engaging with the president, this effort to curry favor with him, or perhaps try and secure the best deal possible for their country. The White House has continued to say that they are arguing, or they are negotiating these deals. We have not yet seen any of these deals actually play out in any form of details from the White House. So it remains to be seen how this July deadline that we have hanging out there will actually play out and what will actually happen there. But it's certainly, I'm sure, something that world leaders were keeping in mind.
ABC's Molly Nagel at the White House. Molly, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much, guys.
It is 4:24 at WTMJ. Let's check those markets. With everything happening in the world, how are the markets responding? Up and down day, and it ended mixed. The NASDAQ was up 61 points on the day. By the way, this is the Annex Wealth Management market update. The Dow was off 107 on the day. The S&P, after bouncing around all day, ended flat. It's financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Know the difference with Annex.
Looking ahead to life's next adventure? Hi, I'm Mike Yancey from Yancey & Associates. Whether you're buying a home or launching your dream business, we know there's a lot on your plate. But here's the thing, you don't have to go it alone. Since 1946, we've helped Wisconsinites like you secure, protect, and grow their version of the American dream. Our team is ready to tailor the perfect plan for you. Learn more at ANSAY.com. That's ANSAY.com.
Don't think twice. Call Dice.
A great way to add value and curb appeal to your home is with a new LiftMaster or CHI maintenance-free garage door. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. A study by Remodelers Magazine reports that the average return on investment is an amazing 82%. Garage doors ranked first among all home improvement projects. To see Geiss's huge selection of doors, visit their showroom in Brookfield, or you can also visit their online showroom at geissdoors.com. Geiss has everything from alley doors to custom wood designer doors and everything in between. Remember, for all your garage door needs, you call Geiss at 262-784-4250. That number again, 262-784-4250. It's Geiss. Visit them online at geissdoors.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geiss.
It's there all day, and it never goes away. I hate pain. It robs us of so much. But if you take action today, your pain could be gone tomorrow. Because at Rejuvenex, we harness the power of Toradol and hyaluronic acid to calm the inflammation and cushion joints. Rejuvenex treatments are safe, they're FDA approved, and in most cases, insurance, including Medicare and Medicaid, pays for them. At as low as $65 per injection per joint, our treatments are affordable. It's not a gimmick. It's pharmacological medicine administered in office in a simple and convenient manner. And with it, our patients have been able to avoid risky surgery and begin to stop the onset of arthritis. I'm Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas, and here we've made pain treatment as easy and affordable as it can be. Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Hey, boaters!
Well, if you have an old boat, new boat, or in between, then Kendor Marine is a great place for you to shop. Because not only do we have all the parts and accessories you need for almost any kind of boat, we also have the expert advice that just about any boater is one day gonna need. I'm Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com. At Kendor Marine, we have everything you need but the water. For over 50 years, boaters have found that to be true. Because when they've needed that old part they thought they'd never find, guess what? They found it here, along with everything else you need to keep your boat out there on the water. This is Dave Doro, and boaters in the know exactly where to go. Kendor Marine, 57th and Ryan Road in Franklin.
Hey, boaters! Cruise to Kendor Marine. We got everything you need but the water.
KendorMarine.com.
Welcome back to Ask Hassleus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
How do you get pee out of an old mattress?
Well,
I'm asking for a friend.
The best way to remove urine from a mattress is to trade in that old mattress for a new Beautyrest or Sealy Posturepedic.
But that'll cost a lot of money.
Not at Hassleus Mattress. Through Monday, trade in your old mattress and get additional savings of $248 off a queen and $348 off a king. And that's on top of our everyday low prices.
Come on, everybody says lowest prices.
Others sell a Sealy Posturepedic Queen Emeryville A mattress for $1268. Hassleus sells it for $1034. But through Monday, it's just $786. And check out the low prices on Beautyrest and more. Plus, free next day delivery.
What does my friend do with his old soaked mattress?
We haul it away for pee.
What was that?
Sorry, I meant for free.
Sure you did.
Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you at hassleus.com.
Want to stay up to date with the crew?
Mizorowski is the all-time leader for the Brewers for consecutive no-hit innings to begin a career.
Tune in to Brewers Extra Innings with Dominic Cotroneo after every game.
He used his other tools, the curve and the slider in particular. He was a pitcher tonight. He wasn't just a thrower, which is why everyone's excited about this kid.
Or listen anytime on the Brewers All Access podcast feed. We are your home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Traffic is brought to you by the Golden Mast Inn. Visit them at goldenmastin.com. The Golden Mast is now offering relaxing rides on Okachi Lake aboard their brand new Bay Runner pontoon patio. Enjoy 2-hour cocktail cruises on Thursdays and Sundays. Get tickets at goldenmastin.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It's 4:30. I'm John Mercure. Your top story: Wisconsin Supreme Court shoots down some of the governor's veto powers.
I'm Julia Fello. A fragile ceasefire is still in place.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Yeah, big delays. Westbound 94 leaving the Marquette all the way past the Zoo interchange into Waukesha County. Doesn't really let up until you get past Moreland Road. On the eastbound side, that's going to be tight from the Zoo all the way through the stadium interchange to 35th. Southbound on the bypass is backed up basically from the zoo down through the Hale interchange onto 894 eastbound all the way to Forest Home. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Showers and storms tonight, a low of 64. Tomorrow, scattered storms are possible, a high of 85. Right now, it's mostly cloudy in Milwaukee and 66 degrees.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, the Wisconsin Supreme Court has handed a victory to the Republican-controlled legislature. The court ruling today that Governor Evers improperly used his partial veto on a bill that detailed the plan for spending on new literacy programs for K through 12 students. The court also sided with the legislature and said the Budget Committee can legally put money into an emergency fund to be distributed later. Governor Evers had argued such a move was unconstitutional.
The latest Marquette Law School poll finds more than half of Wisconsin voters do not want Governor Tony Evers to run for a third term. Governor Evers said he's not going to announce whether he will or won't until after the current state budget is complete. A soft deadline for the new vote is set for Monday. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos says he hopes to have a budget finalized by the 4th of July.
President Trump is standing by his claim that the U.S. strikes on 3 nuclear sites in Iran completely destroyed the country's nuclear capabilities. Iran's foreign military spokesman says the sites were badly damaged. Sources told ABC News it may be too early to know for sure, and an initial report from the U.S. intelligence community suggested the strikes may have set back Iran's nuclear program by only months. President Trump at a news conference after the NATO summit says the U.S. intelligence community may have been inaccurate in their assessment.
The report said what it said, and it was fine. It was severe, they think, but they had no idea. They shouldn't have issued a report until they did.
At the same news conference, Trump compared the U.S. bombing on Iran similar to the atomic bombings in Japan in 1945.
A former University of Wisconsin football player, Nate White, has died. He was a freshman from Milwaukee who joined the Badgers in 2023 as a running back, later switched to a wide receiver, standout at Rufus King High School, key in-state recruit. Details on his death have not been released.
The clock is ticking for Congress to get President Trump's big, beautiful bill onto his desk by July 4th. Annex Wealth Management CEO Dave Spano.
What we're seeing in the bill right now is a renewal of the Trump's 2017 tax cuts for both households and small businesses. But, obviously there's parts in there that not everyone's going to like, and I personally don't like, but deeper cuts to Medicaid.
More than a dozen House Republicans have said changes made by the Senate won't get their approval in the House.
A new budget for Milwaukee Public Schools. The school board yesterday night passed the $1.5 billion budget proposal for next year. MPS Superintendent.
The commitment that I have to pass a fair budget and to bring back a budget, listening to the lit students as well as our community for October, where we can make adjustments and amendments.
This also includes funding for lead cleanup, salary increases, and increased individual funding for every school.
A Milwaukee teacher has started a run on a popular TV game show.
Micah Fritz had wanted to be on Jeopardy for 15 years by the time he got selected for the show in October. And Monday night, he entered Final Jeopardy with an insurmountable lead over the competition.
You only lose $1,000, leaving you with $14,200. You're today's Jeopardy champion, Micah. Congratulations.
Fritz's fun fact for host Ken Jennings, he runs an Instagram account reviewing Milwaukee bathrooms.
We look all the way down to the floor, quality dinginess all around. Case in point, the toilet with no toilet seat on it.
Fritz is back to defend his one-game streak tonight. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Fencing is coming to Milwaukee.
There'll be sabers apace, foils aplenty as USA Fencing Summer Nationals starts this weekend.
This tournament is the largest fencing tournament in the world.
Fencer David Neville.
There are over 6,000 people who will be competing.
Neville runs Caliburn Fencing Club and tells Wisconsin's Morning News anyone's capable of the sport.
There's no one body type or build or mental proclivity that you have to have. You can build an approach to the game based on who you are.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
The tournament at the Baird Center runs through July 7th.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers win the series against the Pirates today from American Family Field. Today was 4-2. The Crew take the day off tomorrow, return to playing on Friday against the Colorado Rockies, first pitch at 7:10. And the NBA Draft kicks off tonight. The two-night event will begin with the first round. The Bucks don't even own a first-round pick, but will select 47th. That is tomorrow. Eric Name from The Athletic joins us talking draft, coming up at 5:15.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 4:35.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
John Mercure here for Loyal Family Renovations. Damage to your home's exterior often leads to headaches with insurance adjusters. That can be the toughest part. Your house is damaged. Now you got to deal with the insurance company. Loyal Family Renovations can work with your insurance company to resolve everything and get the most value for you. They're specialists in this area, working with your insurance company. They work with my insurance company. They repaired our roof, gutters, and downspouts. Our house looks absolutely fantastic. They'll take great care of you. They execute top tier all the time. It's right in the title of their company, Loyal Family. The two things that are important. Loyal Family Renovations, your family's home, is their top priority. Visit loyalfamilyrenovations.com today.
Art has the remarkable ability to spark dialogue and generate common understanding. Hi, I'm Michael Lagerman, Creative Director of Sculpture Milwaukee. This summer, I invite you to downtown's Val R. Phillips Plaza to see how the recently installed sculpture by Thomas J. Price is demonstrating the impact of art in public. Get inspired by the collaboration between Sculpture Milwaukee, America's Black Holocaust Museum, Milwaukee Downtown, and the City of Milwaukee. Learn more by visiting the plaza and at sculpturemilwaukee.com.
We're sponsored by Travel Wisconsin on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. It is travelwisconsin.com. WTMJ's John Mercure here. If you're trying to make sense of the economy and where we're headed, Thursday, July 3rd, you need to check out a webinar I'm co-hosting with Annex Wealth Management Chief Economist Brian Jacobson. Thursday, July 3rd, 9 a.m., you'll get instant insight just after the jobs report is released. We'll provide instant analysis on the employment picture, answer your questions, and explain what it all means. Visit WTMJ.com, click the Instant Insight Register Now button, or check out events at annexwealth.com. Thursday, July 3rd at 9 a.m. It's free. Register today.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News on WTMJ.
All right, let's bring in our friend Ann Sayers. She is the travel secretary. She's the best. Ann, thank you so much for being with us.
I'm so happy to be here.
We're so happy to have you here. Native American culture, this is a big part of our culture and history in the state, isn't it?
We are just so lucky to have 11 tribal nations here in Wisconsin, each of them with their own traditions and unique flavors, their own events. So this summer is just a perfect time to get out there and discover that Native American culture.
Yes, including learning about Menominee culture.
Yeah, you could plan a road trip this summer to learn about the history and cultural traditions of the Menominee Indian tribe of Wisconsin. You start your trip in Kashina, and you can tour 2 museums there. Open year-round is the Menominee Cultural Museum. They tell the story of the tribe's culture, language, and history, which stretches back 10,000 years in Wisconsin, so there's a lot of ground to cover. And you can also pick up clothing, traditional food like wild rice, and even beauty products at the on-site gift shop. Then you can visit, just adjacent, is the Logging Camp Museum. The tribe created this museum to tell the area's rich logging history. You'll tour a recreated logging camp and see some historic artifacts. And you continue your trip by learning about the Menominee creation story in Marinette. So the Minneconne Harbor Park, you'll marvel at a 14-foot tall statue. It's a replica of the tribe's ancestral bear, and it stands at the mouth of the Menominee River where the tribe's creation story begins.
That is really, really cool. Lots of people.
10,000-year-old.
And how about that big bear? That bear's 14 feet tall. That's good stuff, Ann. That's in the Menominee region. And up north, a lot of people head up north during the summer, and a scenic drive full of native culture is right there in northern Wisconsin.
You know it. The Nicolay Wolf River Scenic Byway, it isn't just rich in beautiful views. It is also rich in Native American culture and experiences. The route actually crosses through 147 miles of forested landscapes in several different counties and passes through or near 3 tribal nations. So along with awe-inspiring views, you're going to have plenty of things to see and do. Maybe start by visiting the Mole Lake Casino for some fun and entertainment. Enjoy some slot machines, table games, on-site dining, yelling bingo when your winning number is
bingo!
Called. Yeah. And then the byway also will take you to the Forest County Potawatomi. You can stop into Potawatomi Farm. They have locally grown produce, snacks, Native American-made gifts. And you can add more fun and games to your itinerary with a visit to the Potawatomi Community Center. It's a stunning building. They have a pool, gym, turf field. They're all open to visitors seeking a great recreation option. And then finally, detour off the scenic byway to learn about the Lac du Flambeau Band of Lake Superior Chippewa. The George W. Brown Jr. Ojibwa Museum and Cultural Center hosts interactive exhibits, cultural programs and an impressive collection, including a world record sturgeon.
And also you can celebrate traditional dance.
Yes, so journey to the Hayward area for an annual tradition. This is hosted by the Lakota Ray Band of Lake Superior, Chippewa. The LCO honored the Earth Homecoming Celebration and Powwow, invites the public to join in on the fun. It's happening July 17th through the 20th, and each year it's a lineup of cultural performances and displays. Spectators love it. You can see dancers and drummers participate in a grand entry contest. You can cheer on a traditional game of lacrosse. You can learn about Native American culinary practices during a traditional foods contest. And you could extend your trip by booking a room at the Seven Winds Casino Lodge and Conference Center. There, you're going to stay in comfortable Northwoods-style guest rooms with a variety of amenities. Finish out your evening in the indoor swimming pool, sauna, and a fireside hot tub, which sounds great.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. We want to go back to Menominee, and this is amazing. So 10,000 years worth of history in Wisconsin. You think about the Roman Empire was only 2,000 years ago. This is 10,000 years.
The royal family, it's supposed to be incredible that, you know, the bloodline goes 1,000 years. 10,000.
That's amazing, Ann.
It really is hard to get your head around, and it just means that Wisconsin is a place just so rich in history, so many stories to tell. And if you think about 11 different tribes, all with their own stories and with their own cultures and events, there's just endless opportunities to learn about where it all began.
Yep, you're right. It is super cool. All right, where's the coolest place you've been in the past 2 weeks? We haven't talked to you for a while.
Oh, my goodness. That's a really hard question to answer, but I will tell you this. I am really looking forward to getting down to Kenosha this weekend, and I will definitely be stopping into Tenutas.
I love that. Kenosha is such a fun city, the little harbor district and all that. Ann Sayers is the travel secretary. Ann, thank you so much for making time for us.
Thanks for having me.
It is 4:42 at WTMJ.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. Go behind the scenes of the Emmy-nominated Giannis documentary. Get the real story of the blockbuster trade for Damian Lillard. Hear the origin of Bucks in 6. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get podcasts.
John Mercure here for the Freighter to the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. Science is advanced to where patients can receive treatments through IVs, both at home and with some specialty intravenous treatments while in the clinic or hospital. To learn all about these groundbreaking infusion services, we talked to Brian Condro, Clinical Services Business Liaison with Freighter Home and Specialty Infusion. Find out when infusion therapy is used and why it might be a great option by listening to that conversation along with all past everyday health discussions at WTMJ.com.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886. And tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Summer is finally here. We're outside and maybe noticing the condition of our old windows. Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors, your local experts in stylish, energy-efficient replacement windows. Boost your curb appeal with top brands like Pella, Anderson, and Marvin, tailored to fit your home, your style, and your budget. Plus, installation by employee carpenters. Wood, vinyl, fiberglass, all on display in their newly remodeled New Berlin showroom. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. Visit hometownwindows.com today.
We see you out there, building a life you love, knowing that when inspiration strikes, nothing should get in your way. At Blaine's, we're here to help with everything you need to make it happen at prices that make it possible. Like $150 off a Hobart 210 MVP MIG welder. Save $55 on a Flowtech convertible jet well pump. All Steelworks welding stock 10% off. Plus, we offer Blaine's best price promise, guaranteeing the lowest price with us or we'll match it. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
The 2015 Wisconsin men's hoops team gave us all a march to remember.
There will be no undefeated champion on Wisconsin. Wisconsin with an unbelievable stretch drive to the championship game.
On June 26th, enjoy an intimate celebration with the stars of the run with Made 'em Believe. Presented by M3 Insurance. World-class expertise and individual attention. Tickets are on sale now at uwhoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe, June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
Traffic is sponsored by Flanders Home Entertainment, Flanders.com. Just press play.
Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanders Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanders, just press play.
Traffic and then weather. Debbie Lazaga, how are the roads?
Very slow. Northbound 43 is basically solid from about Lapham all the way through the Marquette, all the way up to Keefe. On the southbound side, we've got delays from Hampton all the way down through the Marquette to the KK River. Westbound 94 starts to slow down before you get to the Marquette. So technically, 794 westbound all the way through the Zoo interchange, and it stays heavy all the way to Calhoun. Another pocket of heavy traffic heading towards Brookfield Road as well. On the eastbound side, it's going to be a little bit slow from Highway F through to the Barker Road area, back on the brakes from the Zoo all the way to 35th Street. And then on westbound 894, seeing backups out of the Mitchell interchange all the way to about 68th Street. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Here is your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Scattered showers tonight, the low will be 64. That continues tomorrow, where the high will be in the upper 80s. Storms Friday morning, the high will be 82. Cloudy Saturday with a high of 83. Night storm chances Sunday with a high of 89. Right now in Milwaukee, it's mostly cloudy and 66 degrees.
All right, time for the Milwaukee Economy Briefing. It's budget season in Madison. We've been talking a lot about vetoes and what is priority and what is not. Can the governor and the legislature work together? You know, one of the biggest advocates for protecting taxpayers in our state is the Metropolitan Milwaukee Association of Commerce. They do great work. Andrew Davis is the Vice President of Governmental Affairs at MMAC, and he is with us. Andrew, so good to have you with us. Thank you.
Thanks for having me back on, John and Julia.
Hey, let's start with where are we? How's the process going so far? Can you give us some deadlines and kind of where we're at before we get into the issues?
Yeah, of course. So obviously, they're always working against a June 30th deadline. Every legislature and the governor's office want to sign that budget quickly in the summer. So I feel we are nearing the end here. Negotiations have started. They've stopped. They've started back up again. But the powerful budget writing committee, the Joint Finance Committee in Madison, has been talking, and the leaders and the co-chairs have been talking with the governor again, and we're expecting them to get a governor's budget delivered to him on time.
All right. So some of the bullet points, key issues. What are the key issues that you guys are thinking about? Maybe start there.
Okay. First and foremost, it's always the tax and regulatory climate for our members and for our regional economy here in the Milwaukee area. The tax cut that was proposed by Governor Evers in his budget included a lot of K-12 education spending and increased spending. We're in favor of both of those, and it's for the leaders, the co-chairs, and the governor to work out what levels are appropriate that they can get passed and sign into law. So we're very supportive of a tax cut being included in this state budget. I'm confident to think that we will see one. The Republicans already included a $1.3 billion tax cut when they passed that out of committee just a few short weeks ago. Less taxes means more money in our residents' pockets, and that's good for the overall economy. Some targeted tax cut in that package was a Republican's plan to exclude the first $24,000 of retirement income for individuals over the age of 67. So I'm trying to target some of those senior citizens that they want to keep here inside the state. Second, but not in last in any way, is education funding. We have a governor who is very invested in education, and a state legislature that has always, even while under Republican control, has increased spending in education, and we're supportive of that. And that includes per pupil payments to schools and to districts, increases in special education funding, and these are issues that the public supports, and I think you're going to see the governor sign into law at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. A couple of other ones is public safety in Milwaukee. Obviously, there's been a big push to really help the criminal justice system here, so I'm I'm confident that through negotiations, the legislature and the governor will come up with a way to support Milwaukee's criminal justice system.
Hey, I want to ask you about the veto thing that we've been talking about in the news here throughout the day, Andrew. The Supreme Court ruled that the governor improperly used his veto power in making changes. What is MMAC's takeaway from that ruling and what it means moving forward?
Well, that was big news this morning as the Wisconsin Supreme Court made that announcement, unanimously deciding that the governor overstepped his veto authority. Our takeaway from that is the Wisconsin governor, no matter which party is in that office, already has one of, if not the most powerful veto pen in the country. And this would have set a new precedent for any governor moving forward when you could partially veto legislation that don't have any dollars or appropriations attributed to that bill. This was a policy bill that did not include any funding. So,
Interesting stuff.
Let's go to the Marquette Law School poll and how people feel about the surplus, if it should go to tax cuts or not.
Yeah, so big news today, too, with the Marquette poll coming out. There's some really good takeaways. Obviously, everyone has been talking about a $4 billion state surplus here in Wisconsin, and obviously there are always a lot of people that have a lot of ideas on how to spend all that money. I think one of the biggest headlines and talking points coming from that poll was 65% of voters say that half or more of that surplus should go to tax cuts or tax reform. But on the flip side of that, they also believe that you could increase some spending in K-12 education, specifically in special education.
I think it's really interesting when we talk about surplus going to tax cuts and how it breaks down. Do we know if that breaks down along party lines? Are Democrats more likely to say yes to education, no to tax cuts, or vice versa? Do we know any of that?
They are, and you see that in the data when you break down crosstabs in a poll. It's reflective in today's poll as well. One other question that really jumped out at me, especially with this morning's news by the Wisconsin Supreme Court, was on the governor's partial veto power, where 54% say the governor has too much power through that partial veto. But again, as you just stated, John, very different depending on the type of voter that's answering that question.
All right, so the legislature's current draft of the biennial budget, I want to go back to something that you hit on earlier, the public safety building. Everybody in our neck of the woods agrees something needs to be done there for safety, for structural reasons. Is there any money included in the draft of the budget?
Well, I can't say for certain if there's any draft language in the budget that's including money for any infrastructure or the building. I do know that over the last couple of weeks, negotiations have been ongoing, but they are trying to find ways to help Milwaukee address their issue. I don't know if that's going to come in the form of money for a building or in other crafty ways that can help the county and some of the services that they're providing already. But I think Madison legislators and the leaders and the governor all agree we have a unique ecosystem here. We have a unique set of problems, and they all want to try and help address those.
You know, it's interesting, and I didn't know about this until, a couple of years ago, that school funding is based off of a pool of money, and the interest, a big portion goes to MPS, of course, but that's how we fund our schools. Not primarily, but a lot of it comes from that, along with our taxpayer dollars. But what should we do with the surplus? Has the MMAC or anyone with the businesses with MMAC, the 2,000 businesses that you represent, have they talked about putting that into a pool and, having the interest pay off some things and interests each year, like taking care of our roads, for example, and then our schools?
We've not talked about putting it in any type of a pool, but we definitely want to see those same priorities that we're always supporting here at the MMAC, be it tax cut, tax reform, increased K-12 spending, and the infrastructure that you just mentioned with roads and the freeway system. And those are some of the top priorities you have to take care of every budget. And it's further exacerbated with the problem that other costs are all going up. Medicaid is set to double in cost very soon in the future. So while we talk about a $4 billion surplus, a lot of legislators and leaders in Madison are not considering that full amount when we have money to play with and spend new money.
Hey, Andrew, we've only got 1 minute, but I wanted to ask you, as a guy who spends a lot of time on relationships in Madison and our city, We talked to a lot of Republican legislators who were very upset that SROs were not in schools. They feel like money was given to Milwaukee. MPS didn't follow the rules. Have those relationships been damaged as we go through budget time and talks come around to what Milwaukee should and should not get?
I think early on in the process, the last couple months, they may have been damaged slightly, but nothing that was too damaging. I think everyone's back on better footing now, and they're talking again. So that can sour for a bit, but I think all the good work the last couple of years that our leaders here in Milwaukee have really put in on the Capitol Square and in the Capitol building has not been lost.
Andrew Davis is the Vice President of Governmental Affairs at the Metropolitan Milwaukee Association of Commerce. Always good perspective. Andrew, thank you so much.
Thanks. We'll talk to you again soon.
It is 4:56 at WTMJ.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
2 new restaurants and a veterinarian clinic are expected to fill a multi-tenant building proposed for Drexel Town Square in Oak Creek. The names of the tenants are not yet known, with leases being finalized. A new brewery and tap room could be developed in Menominee Falls. Clockwork Brewing and Blending is proposing a 12,000 square foot building that would mainly be used for production and warehousing, but would also have a tap room with seating for nearly 200 customers. The largest companies in southeast Wisconsin garnered more than $100 billion in revenue in 2024, with the revenue leaders spread across a range of industries. Last year, the area had more than 180 companies with revenue over $1 million, with the complete list on the Business Journal website. I'm Timothy Gibbons from MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on 620 WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
The Milwaukee Economy Briefing is sponsored by Horicon Bank. The natural choice, visit horiconbank.com.
Tell us a little bit about innovative signs.
We're located out in Waukesha. Where we are really focused mostly is manufacturing outdoor electrical signs.
You came to Horicon Bank. How do you think other local businesses can benefit?
When I call, Michelle picks up the phone, and when I email, she responds in a timely manner. A few years ago, I talked to my accountant about shopping around looking for a different bank just to get some alternatives, and he said, absolutely not. You're not going to like working for a big bank. They have a lot more regulations. So that's how we got involved with Cornerstone Bank. When Horicon purchased Cornerstone, we came along for the ride, and it's been great.
Slide into your neighborhood Century Food Store to score the freshest produce, tastiest treats, and everything in between. Now through Wednesday, save on 5.95 to 8-ounce selected varieties Sargento deli-style sliced or American singles, 2 for $6. Gallon selected varieties Prairie Farms white or chocolate milk, $3.99. 10 to 12-ounce selected varieties essential everyday tortilla chips, 2 for $4.50. 56 to 57.6-ounce selected varieties extra laundry detergent, $2.99.
Attention shoppers. Safe.
Okay. Ooh. Pineapple fulfills every need.
While you're shopping, a drive way back, it's a gunner.
There's something goofy going on with the PA.
Need a price check and I'll take me out to the ball game.
See, what is going on?
You're hearing things. We're at Century Foods, and you can't take your mind off winning that ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes.
I'm hoping to throw out the first pitch at a Milwaukee baseball game.
Or attend batting practice.
Or hold the finish line ribbon for the racing sausages.
You don't say.
The ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes at Century Foods. Enter on Century's Facebook or Instagram by July 30th.
I love my dogs. They're like children in our home, but a lot like raising kids. I found the dogs, Bella and Baxter, didn't always listen to me. I started working with Matt, the owner at Sit Means Sit Dog Training. The dogs are awesome. My house is quiet. We've had a great experience with even better results. Our dogs are just better behaved. As a client, I know the good work that Sit Means Sit does, and I trust them. You too can have a happy, confident, obedient dog. Contact Sit Means Sit Dog Training today for a free consultation. We did that. It's Sit Means Sit Dog Training.
An unsuspecting driver at a Milwaukee barbershop.
I got an apprentice here shadowing me. I'm gonna put this hot towel on, man. About a good 3 minutes, all right?
The apprentice is Donald Driver.
So when you come here, you drive?
Yes.
Your car got seatbelts?
Yeah.
You wear them?
No.
Okay, but why not?
I don't want to.
But do you know you can get a ticket for that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you a ticket. I bet you wish you buckle up now.
Oh my God. Donald Driver can't always be there to remind you.
Take it, click it. There we go. Click it or ticket.
And let's reduce fatalities on Wisconsin roadways. Sponsored by Wisconsin DOT.
The very front of the Brewers front office is on Wisconsin's Morning News.
I think it's something sort of our brand of baseball. You know, we're going to play you tough and play hard night in and night out, and we're here and we're going to fight you all 9 innings.
Brewers GM and Senior Vice President Matt Arnold is our Brewers 360 guest every Thursday morning at 8:45.
How soon do I start asking you about trades and stuff, Matt?
My phone's always on. So, no.
Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
$1 for just $1 over cost. You can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, just $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. Available at all 5 Griffin stores. Just $1 over cost. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Built Right. One location saves you money.
You gotta get to Built Right today.
Traffic is sponsored by St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores.
St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores. Highway 100 and Layton Avenue in Greenfield. 23rd and Lincoln and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee. Great bargains and a great cause. You're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores.
Trusted, relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
I'm John Mercure. Your top story, the Wisconsin Supreme Court shoots down some of the governor's veto powers.
I'm Julia Fello, pushing for peace in the Middle East.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Pretty brutal ride out there right now. Very heavy. Westbound 94 starts to slow down from before the Marquette, pretty much all the way out past Calhoun, and you're back on the brakes heading towards Highway 16. That's all to the tune of, from downtown to the zoo, about a 19-minute ride, usually only a 6. And then from the zoo to Highway 16 will be another 18 all the way to Highway 16. So give yourself tons of extra time if you do have to go along that roadway. The eastbound side is going to be also backed up from the zoo interchange all the way into downtown. It's going to be about a 10-minute ride for that whole stretch. Most of the delays happening between the zoo and about 35th Street. Southbound 43 just cranking on the brakes, basically from Hampton all the way down through the Marquette to the KK River. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight, maybe some rain, a low of 64. Tomorrow, scattered showers, a high near 83. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, the Wisconsin Supreme Court has handed a victory to the Republican-controlled legislature. The court ruling today that Governor Tony Evers improperly used his partial veto on a bill that detailed the plan for spending on new literacy programs. The court also sided with the legislature, saying the Budget Committee can legally put money into an emergency fund to be distributed later.
President Donald Trump standing by his claim that the U.S. strikes on 3 nuclear sites in Iran completely destroyed the country's nuclear capabilities. The president says that both sides want to end the fighting.
I dealt with both, and they're both tired, exhausted. They fought very, very hard and very viciously, very violently, and they were both satisfied to go home and get out.
Many Iranians have told members of the Associated Press that they're fearful as to what Iran's leaders will do next.
Protests have erupted outside the CDC headquarters in Atlanta, where the advisory committee selected by Robert F. Kennedy is meeting for the first time. Kennedy fired the previous 17 members of the panel.
There are some Republicans now pushing back, and that includes Senator Bill Cassidy, who's a doctor, and remember, it was that key swing vote on Kennedy's confirmation to become HHS Secretary earlier this year. He posted that this upcoming meeting, scheduled for today and set to go into tomorrow, should be postponed because many of Kennedy's chosen replacements, quote, don't have significant experience in key medical fields.
That was ABC's Jay O'Brien.
Another pushback from the man accused of forging threats against the president.
A court hearing for Demetric Scott was delayed again Wednesday. Scott appeared in front of Judge Christy Yang, but his attorney told the court
they completed their conflict check and told me I cannot be appointed to Mr. Scott's newest case. And they said that because of the conflict that existed, and they said I need to withdraw off all of Mr. Scott's cases. So both the 2 prior cases I have to withdraw off as well.
Attorney Robert Hampton.
I spoke to management in the office once I was told that it could not be myself representing Mr. Scott, and they said that Mr. Scott would be one of the ones that they put on the front to try to get him an appointment as fast as possible.
Scott is set to appear in court again July 21st. Nazir Spencer, WTMJ News.
Coming up, lending a helping hand away from the home field.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 5:04.
What if you could lose up to 1 pound of fat every single day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, they've got the secret, and it's helping people shed serious weight fast. Hey, it's Steve Scavini from WTMJ. I've been on the Milwaukee Weight Loss program since January and currently in the maintenance phase after losing, get this, 40 pounds. It was fast, easy, and safe, and I'm sticking with the incredible team at Milwaukee Weight Loss to keep the weight off. Their doctor-developed, easy-to-follow program helps people lose weight naturally and safely with no drugs, no risky injections, no meal kits, no shakes, no exercise required. It's not just about losing weight. It's about resetting your metabolism to keep it off for good with personal coaching every step of the way. And guess what? Their program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in just a month or two, up to 1 pound of fat a day. Book your free consultation now at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com or call 262-449-1180. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
I'm Jim Token, president of the Automobile Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. Nobody can keep your car running smoothly like an Adam new car dealer. Adam service technicians are factory trained and use original factory parts backed by a warranty. Best of all, you'll find competitive pricing equal to or even lower than independent shops. A well-maintained car delivers maximum gas mileage and saves you money. Call an Adam dealer today because you're always better off at an Adam new car dealer.
Get an oil change and safety inspection today.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. If you're trying to make sense of the economy and where we're headed, Thursday, July 3rd, you need to check out a webinar I'm co-hosting with Annex Wealth Management Chief Economist Brian Jacobson. Thursday, July 3rd, 9 a.m., you'll get instant insight just after the jobs report is released. We'll provide instant analysis on the employment picture, answer your questions, and explain what it all means. Visit WTMJ.com, click the Instant Insight Register Now button, or check out events at AnnexWealth.com. Thursday, July 3rd at 9 a.m. It's free. Register today. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 5:06.
The Salvation Army partnered with the Brewers to make and give out lunches to children who cannot rely on school lunches over the summer, who need to rely on school lunches over the summer. Social Services Director from Milwaukee County, Jenny Von Helms, tells WTMJ they packed around 400 lunches yesterday.
We go out into the community. We give over 1,000 meals a day, lunchtime, at different sites. It's a mobile program. Today was a great day. We made many sandwiches and lunches and put them together, and they'll go out on the routes tomorrow.
The lunches will be given out at 10 sites throughout the Milwaukee area from June 23rd, which was just a couple days ago, until August 22nd.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers win the series against the Pirates today at American Family Field 4-2. The Crew take the day off tomorrow before resuming play on Friday against the Rockies. And the NBA Draft is tonight. The Bucks don't have a pick in the first round. They will select 47th tomorrow night.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 5:07.
No interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
And as Pella goes into another windup, it's so hard to guess that next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years.
Pella also provides a free in-home consultation, which includes a no-obligation quote.
That's always a great play because working with one of Pella's design experts is such a wonderful, no-pressure get-together. I know this from experience.
With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, you can get the look you want at a price you can afford.
And there's no reason to wait with this incredible deal going on.
Get no interest and no payment for up to 2 years.
Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply in 6/30/2025.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, John Mercure and Julia Fello.
Very happy you're with us. Very happy that the Brewers won.
Yes.
Yes. We'll have much more of sports throughout the show. I want to talk about the man accused of attacking his ex-girlfriend with an axe. It's making national headlines, and he's now been publicly named today. Hayden Daffinson, 34 years old, and also on our website, WTMJ.com, you can see him for yourself, his mugshot. Charged with attempted first-degree attempted murder, striking the 38-year-old victim with an axe more than 25 times, and all of this for breaking up with him. The victim said they lived together for just 1 month over the weekend. He said he would stop over to get his microwave and some lamps. He texted her over the weekend. He showed up later that day with a backpack, and she told detectives he pulled out a hatchet and hit her with it at least 5 times. Then court records show the victim telling detectives what he said next. Quote, "F it, I'm going to jail anyways," and he raped her, according to court records. while she was bleeding out from her wounds. Afterwards, he hit her, struck her with that axe 25 more times.
Oh, terrible.
At least. She told detectives from her hospital bed the only reason why he didn't kill her, she says, after all of this, is because she promised him that she would tell police that she got the wounds from falling down the stairs. She was struck in the back, her head, her limbs. Then she was left bleeding on her living room floor, her arms broken, both of them, crawling to her phone, calling 911, airlifted to a hospital, still recovering tonight. The wounds, John, range from 2.5 to 8 inches long, so more than a half foot long. Her left and right arms again are broken, multiple skull fractures after looking at MRIs and x-rays, along with a 911 call that she made. It was revealed in court today that at the beginning of the attack, it was captured on Ring video. A neighbor heard the beginning of it and is also now a witness documented in court records. Hayden Davidson was caught in Germantown after a police chase, and detectives say they discovered on his legs and shoes blood. He was covered in it, telling police, quote, "It was from fighting with my girlfriend." He's now charged with attempted murder, rape. Fond du Lac County District Attorney Eric Toney said in court it was the most brutal attack he has ever seen as a DA. He spoke to us just yesterday. Here is part of our conversation.
Obviously, if she can testify, if she can help you, that's going to be very important. Do you know the condition of the patient?
What I can say is she's been able to communicate and share some information, but I think there's going to be a long road to recovery based on just the horrific severity of the injuries that you don't wish upon anyone.
This could have easily have been a murder case. How incredible is it that you have a first-hand account with a survivor in this unbelievable axe attack where she was hit in the back, the limbs, the head?
Well, it's, I've seen some of the photos, and I just want to be careful with some of my comments right now. There's a lot of things that I would love to share and talk about with my personal opinion, and I have to be careful, and we're grateful that this woman is alive, that she survived.
The judge set a $5 million cash bond. Incredible part is that the victim did survive all of this.
It's a miracle.
I know. And has been able to give a first-hand account about this crime, including saying who her attacker was. The victim has undergone extensive surgery, according to Eric Toney, the DA, a domestic violence survivor, now able to live and tell her story to solve her own case.
It was just incredibly brutal attack, and the circumstances certainly can fit the hallmarks of domestic violence, and just how important it is to keep women safe and help them safely exit relationships.
Davidson has a criminal past related to possession of meth and forgery charges, nothing like attempted murder. These charges now could put him behind bars for life.
Victim went through 7 hours of surgery yesterday and is in surgery again this afternoon. Terrible, terrible story.
Awful.
It is 5:13 at WTMJ. The draft is tonight. Is Giannis staying? Could they move up the Bucks into tonight's first round to get him some help? All those questions with the senior NBA writer at The Athletic, Eric Name, up next.
Summer's officially here, and Fleet Farm's ready to go with unbeatable outdoor deals. Stock up on 24 packs of Fleet Farm bottled water. On sale now, just 2 for $5. Get 20 pounds of Bear Mountain barbecue pellets for $7.99 a bag. And spruce up your yard with bags of Superior Weed and Feed for just $19.99. Whether you're grilling or chilling, get what you need at the best prices guaranteed this summer at Fleet Farm. And check out all our deals at fleetfarm.com.
Otto's Wine and Spirits, serving Milwaukee for 80 years. It's their 80th birthday, actually, right now. I love Otto's. It's where I do my shopping. Wine, I got a case of wine to pick up, actually, a Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand that's coming in tomorrow. I'm going to get it, Otto's. Fantastic value. Here's the deal. I bought that case of wine for $8 a bottle. Usually it sells in the store for about $15 a bottle. That's the value at Otto's Wine and Spirits. Wow. I know. It's great wine.
That's incredible.
Great value. Best selection, best value on wine, beer, all your spirits. They'll actually beat any advertised price. They are Wisconsin strong. They are Otto's.
Whether you're a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel, conveniently located in the heart of downtown Milwaukee's Theater District. With deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site art galleries, artist in residence, and nightly live music, you'll enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com.
Wisconsin's Midday News is back at the big gig. With all the music,
The Killers,
food,
give me that sampler platter,
sights and sounds
I'll see you on the Sky Glider
that Summerfest has to offer.
Tune in each Thursday of the festival from noon to 3 to hear me, Greg Matzik,
And me, Jessica Ty.
broadcasting live from the Fello Windows and Doors mobile studio.
It's Wisconsin's Midday News, live from Summerfest.
Traffic is sponsored by Flanders Home Entertainment, Flanders.com. Just press play.
Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanders Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanders, just press play.
Traffic and weather, Debbie Lazaga. How's that ride rolling?
It's very slow. We've got southbound on 43 backing up from Hampton, pretty much solid all the way down to the Marquette. Still very heavy all the way down to the KK River once you get through the Marquette. Northbound slowing down over the high-rise bridge all the way up to Keith. Westbound 94, just a brutal ride from about 2nd Street all the way through the Marquette to about Calhoun. Then you're back on the brakes just before Barker Road, and that will take you all the way to about Highway 164 with those delays. On the eastbound side, we got delays from Highway 16 pretty much all the way to about Sunny Slope Road, back on the brakes from the Zoo through the Marquette interchange to about 27th Street. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, scattered showers, a low of 64 degrees. Tomorrow, another chance for rain, a high of 90 inland, cooler along the lake. Friday, slight chance for rain, a high of 82. Saturday, maybe rainy, 83. Sunday, partly cloudy, a high of 89. Right now, partly sunny and 65 degrees. All right, so the NBA draft begins tonight. Guess who probably won't be doing anything tonight? The Milwaukee Bucks. Or will they? Eric Name is the senior NBA writer for The Athletic. Eric, thank you so much for making some time for us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So what are the chances that the Bucks find a way to move into the first round tonight?
Pretty low. I think when you look at kind of what the Bucks have, I know there's always lots of excitement about Giannis Antetokounmpo and where he could possibly be going, and that's great for everyone outside of Milwaukee to speculate upon, but that is not going to be the case. That would be a very easy way to get a whole bunch of first-round picks, would be trading Giannis Antetokounmpo, but that's not something that the Milwaukee Bucks are doing. So when you look kind of around the rest of the roster, to me, the easiest way to get one would be to, trade a guy like A.J. Green, but I think you like a guy like A.J. Green, and all you'd be doing is trying to draft a guy like A.J. Green. So why not just keep A.J. Green? They have a 2031 first-round pick that they could trade for multiple first-round picks. We've seen a team like the Phoenix Suns do that, but I don't know if you want to follow the same footsteps as the Phoenix Suns. Things have not gone so well for them as of late. So I think it'll probably end up being a quiet night here for the Bucks. John Horst is always aggressive, always looking to see if he can make a move, but it does seem pretty unlikely that the Bucks find their way into the first round tonight.
Is there any athlete that you are eyeing as this goes on for the Bucks?
Oh, that's for the Bucks, they're at 47 tomorrow night. I think there's a lot of guys that could end up being really interesting for the Bucks. The NIL landscape has kind of changed the NBA draft a little bit. Now when you get to the spot where the Bucks are at 47, you have a lot of guys that, definitely went to college 4 years, may have gone 5. Some of them even went 6. Just with, COVID years and injuries and things like that. So you're looking at older prospects, which in many cases wouldn't be a great thing, but for the Bucks could end up being a good thing. That might mean those players, even if they have a lower ceiling, might be closer to being ready to play. So, you go through some of those guys and, you look at, there's a guy like Elijah Martin who played for the national champion Florida Gators. Bryce Williams at Nebraska is an interesting player as well. Chaz Lanier at Tennessee, Micah Peavy at Georgetown. Those are all guys that could fit in on the wing with the Milwaukee Bucks, and this league is always kind of made up of wings. One of the rarities in that second round near 47 that is kind of interesting and is the guy that our draft expert at The Athletic currently has going to the Bucks in the mock draft is Rocco Zikarsky. Rocco is a 19-year-old, 7'3" Australian.
Oh my gosh, 7'3".
Yeah, our old friend Caden Pittman, who used to be here in Milwaukee covering the Bucks,
Right.
I just saw him do an interview with Rocco, and he was joking with Rocco. He's like, "Are you still growing?" And Rocco said, "Yeah, I might be. Every inch could count." And he's like, "Well, mate, you're already at 7'3", so I think you might have enough."
Bobby Portis was just here, and I couldn't believe how tall he was, and he's 6'10".
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
right.
goodness.
5 inches taller. Yeah, and that's kind of like a rare thing, right? In the second round, especially with the way the draft is shaped up over the last couple of years, typically you're looking at older prospects. So a 19-year-old big man, it would be a little bit of a project. The Bucks drafted a 19-year-old big man last year in Tyler Smith in the second round. So it's something that they are not afraid to do. But yeah, those are just some names that could be available tomorrow night at 47 when the Bucks finally get their pick.
2 inches
Eric Name
taller
with
than
us?
Shaq.
Yeah,
Just
that's
saying.
tall.
Okay, go ahead.
Not as big around though. Eric
Yeah,
Name is with us from
exactly.
The Athletic. Hey, Eric, do you think the Bucks have had any conversations about moving Giannis?
No. I think for the Bucks to ever consider that, it's going to have to be a situation where Giannis tells them that he wants out, that he wants to leave Milwaukee. And one, you never know what could happen. You never know if that might be the way that he feels. Obviously, we know that Giannis is pretty much always going to be focused on winning. That's always kind of his thing. And I think the way I always try to sum it up to people is that, I think Giannis always wants to win. And ideally, I think he'd like to do it in Milwaukee. And the winning comes first, but the second part is the second part. That is something that, he's been able to build an unbelievable Hall of Fame career. And he's been able to build a family and, all sorts of kids and a really nice life here in Milwaukee. So he is obviously, I think, one of the most loyal people you will ever meet. So things can change, but the Bucks aren't going to think about that until really they're until they're informed that they need to. Until that point, they're going to do everything in their power to build a winning team around Giannis and to try to help him get that second championship, which we all know he desperately, desperately wants to get.
And this is something else that Shaq has said one time. He said, I was looking for LA and everything, but but Giannis doesn't really need that. He already has the original Supermax contract. He doesn't need to go anywhere else. Big cities, you don't need to go to anymore if you're a megastar. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy to think, like, Giannis has a signature shoe with Nike. I mean, we're on version 5 of the Freaks. He's got shoes, he's got merchandise. He's been the leading vote getter at the All-Star game, something that I think we all probably thought was unimaginable for a player playing in Milwaukee a decade ago. It just didn't seem like something that would be possible. And now we're in this place where year after year, Giannis is the leading vote getter. He's right up there with LeBron James over the last 5 years with votes. And I mean, that kind of speaks to Shaq's point. Like, you don't really need the big market anymore. You can do all those things. You think about Giannis taking a trip to Brazil with his brothers, and he opens up a live stream on Instagram, and immediately there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people on it because that's the brand that he's already been able to build. So yeah, that used to be a thing. I think you did used to need to be in those big markets and be in one of those cities that could really get you those things. But no, Giannis has always been someone that can really attract advertisers, brands. Everyone wants a piece of him because I think his story is so incredible, and he's been such an incredible athlete and such an incredible performer now for his entire NBA career.
Eric Name, senior NBA writer at The Athletic, working tonight. Thanks, Eric. We appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
It is 5:25. Wisconsin's Afternoon News is brought to you by Sweet Talks Med Spa. They say your goals are their goals.
Looking ahead to life's next adventure? Hi, I'm Mike Yancey from Yancey & Associates. Whether you're buying a home or launching your dream business, we know there's a lot on your plate. But here's the thing, you don't have to go it alone. Since 1946, we've helped Wisconsinites like you secure, protect, and grow their version of the American dream. Our team is ready to tailor the perfect plan for you. Learn more at ANSAY.com. That's ANSAY.com.
John Mercure here for the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. Science has advanced to where patients can receive treatments through IVs, both at home and with specialty intravenous treatments while in the clinic or the hospital. To learn all about these groundbreaking infusion services, we talked to Brian Condro, Clinical Services Business Liaison with Freighter and Specialty Infusion. Find out when infusion therapy is used and why it might be a great option by listening to that conversation, along with all our past everyday health discussions at WTMJ.com.
We see you out there, building a life you love, knowing that when inspiration strikes, nothing should get in your way. At Blaine's, we're here to help with everything you need to make it happen at prices that make it possible. Like $80 off 192-piece DeWalt Mechanics tool sets, Milwaukee job site backpacks $89.99, Little Giant rubber utility mats 15% off. Plus, we offer Blaine's best price promise, guaranteeing the lowest price with us or we'll match it. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
It's worth $100 now to save thousands later. Vince Vitrano for Urban Heating and Cooling. Family-owned business. Ryan and his wife, Ellie. I had Ryan out to the Vitrano house for an AC tune-up. Cleaned out all the coils, checked for any issues that could cause breakdowns, set up my air conditioner to run more efficiently all summer. This service available in your home for just $99 plus tax, saving on your electric bills, helping prevent more costly repairs down the road. Tell them Vinny sent you when you call. UrbanHeatingandCooling.com.
Summer in Milwaukee means a couple of things. Brewers baseball and live music. Get the best of both when the Brewers take on the Rockies June 27th, featuring a post-game concert by Nelly. Then, the first 25,000 fans at the game on Saturday, June 28th, get a Pat Murphy Manager of the Year bobblehead, courtesy of Toyota. Get ready for a weekend you'll be talking about all summer. Get your tickets at Brewers.com.
With Amazon Business, smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Hi, this is Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas. And you know, I'm a consumer just like you. And my ears perk up for pain relief messages just like you. But some of these ads...
Since I started taking this natural supplement, within weeks, my pain is completely gone.
I mean, come on. Give me a break. The truth is, there are imbalances in your body causing your pain. And there's physical therapy, which we are highly skilled at, that can improve imbalances. And there are alternative pain solutions. But not all of them are proven, safe, effective, or affordable. At Rejuvenex, the effectiveness of Toradol joined with hyaluronic acid has been proven. Our treatments are affordable, FDA approved, safe, and they're powerful medicines. They calm inflammation and cushion joints, and they can make your pain go away.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Dan, what are you doing?
Taking a closet for a test drive.
A test drive?
Here at Inspired Closets, we have our own cutting-edge immersive design experience.
That's right. Envisioned by Inspired Closets uses AR technology that's sort of like test driving a car.
Virtually walk into your custom closet at scale before anything is even built.
You can even make changes in real time, so your environment will adapt to any design revisions you make in that moment.
Get started today at InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
Inspired Closets, a wife and husband team.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. If you're trying to make sense of the economy and where we're headed, Thursday, July 3rd, you need to check out a webinar I'm co-hosting with Annex Wealth Management Chief Economist Brian Jacobson. Thursday, July 3rd, 9 a.m., you'll get instant insight. just after the jobs report is released. We'll provide instant analysis on the employment picture, answer your questions, and explain what it all means. Visit WTMJ.com, click the Instant Insight Register Now button, or check out events at annexwealth.com. Thursday, July 3rd at 9 a.m. It's free. Register today.
Traffic is sponsored by Angela Calais and Benefit Realty.
At Benefit Realty, pay only 3.5 to 3.9% real estate commission and get all the service that you should. Benefit Realty, you pay less for full service. Benefit-realty.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It's 5:30. I'm John Mercure. Your top story: damage of Iran's nuclear program may not fully be destroyed.
I'm Julia Fello. What pollsters are saying no to.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Eastbound on 94. Looks like we've got a crash just past Highway 16. It's off on the right shoulder, but emergency crews are on the scene. That's enough to be making for a nasty ride all the way back into the Highway 16 interchange there. Beyond that, more delays from Barker Road to Brookfield Road, and then again from Highway 100 all the way through the zoo to about 35th Street. The westbound side of 94, that's very heavy, right through the Marquette, and it pretty much is solid all the way to about Highway 16. Southbound on 41, backing up from Good Hope Road, pretty much all the way to Capitol Drive. More delays then from the Zoo interchange onto 894, all the way down around the Hale interchange onto 894 eastbound. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Scattered showers and storms possible tonight, a low of 64. It continues tomorrow, a high of 83 near the lake, 90 inland. Right now in Milwaukee, it's partly sunny and 65 degrees.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, National Security Analyst Joe Cicerone says it's not possible for the U.S. military strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities to have completely obliterated those sites, as President Trump has insisted. But it did set back the nuclear program. He also says it's a good sign the president signaled more negotiations next week with Iran.
There is no military solution. The United States or any other country has never bombed away another country's nuclear program. You have to negotiate. You have to get the country to agree to give it up.
U.S. President Donald Trump asserting that American and Iranian officials will talk again next week.
More than half of Wisconsinites do not want Governor Tony Evers to run for a third term.
42% say he should seek a third term. 55% say he should not.
That's Marquette Law School poll director Charles Franklin sharing the results of a recent statewide poll. Past polling also showed voters largely opposed giving a third term to former Republican Governor Scott Walker.
This is from January of 2016, when it was 36% saying Walker should run again, 61% no.
Evers has said he won't announce if he'll run for a third term until after the current state budget process is complete. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
An incident at a food packaging plant co-owned by Wisconsin Assembly Speaker Robin Vos has drawn the attention of federal safety workers. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reporting an employee lost a fingertip in an accident at the TS food packaging plant in Burlington. The employee and plant management disagree on whether proper safety protocols were followed. Vos has declined to comment on the incident.
Congress is running out of time to pass President Trump's sweeping budget bill that he wants by July 4th. That's his deadline. Annex Wealth Management CEO Dave Spano tells WTMJ.
There's a lot of talk about state and local tax deduction. And especially if they're trying to get votes in the states that really want that, which of course are California, New York, New Jersey, for example. And so that deduction, they wanted to push it from today at $10,000 up to $40,000. There was some negotiation, but the bill just has a placeholder in there for $10,000. So that's not going to be enough.
Currently, the last scheduled day in session for both chambers is Friday.
Former University of Wisconsin football player Nate White has died. White was a redshirt freshman from Milwaukee who joined the Badgers in 2023 as a running back and later switched to wide receiver. He was a standout at Rufus King High School and a key in-state recruit. Details on White's death have not been released. A statement from UW-Madison and South Dakota State are expected to be released.
A bill that hopes to recruit out-of-state families to move to Wisconsin just advanced at the Capitol. The bill would require Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation to reallocate money to fund the program, which drew the ire of Democrats yesterday. Representative Alex Joers of Middleton.
I was looking at this bill and I was reviewing it, and wait a minute. Oh, there's no funding in it. It creates a grant program, and there's no grants. There's no funding in this bill.
Republicans say the bill would be edited to include necessary funds if they do not make it into the final state budget proposal. The soft deadline for a state budget to be passed is Monday.
The CEO of Milwaukee's Downtown Business Improvement District is calling it quits. Beth Weirick retires on Friday after leading the organization since its founding in 1998.
I've been extraordinarily reflective, as you can imagine. Like whenever you go through a big transition in life, at least I've been thinking about who has impacted me along my life. And I go all the way back, of course, to my grandparents, my kindergarten teachers, but then people that you meet along the way.
Matt Dorner will be the organization's new CEO.
A Milwaukee area man is now a Jeopardy champion and looking to start a winning streak on the popular quiz show.
This is Jeopardy!
Micah Fritz's journey to his Victory Tuesday included numerous tests, auditions, and a lot of waiting.
They just say, yep, congrats, you're in the contestant pool. It could be up to 2 years before we call you.
Fritz says a highlight of the experience was getting to meet show host and Jeopardy legend Ken Jennings.
To have somebody on the other side of the podium who's been on the game and loves the game so much, it's really great.
Fritz goes for win number 2 tonight. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law offices. One call, that's all Sports Desk. The Brewers win the series against the Pirates today at American Family Field. Today's victory 4-2. The Crew take the day off tomorrow, return to playing on Friday against the Colorado Rockies. First pitch at 7:10. And the NBA Draft kicks off tonight. The two-night event begins with the first round. The Bucks do not currently own a first-round pick, but will select with the 47th overall pick in the second round tomorrow.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 5:36.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Landworks Wisconsin, the people who transformed our yard, absolutely fantastic. Local company, great people. Their commitment to year-round beauty is what Landworks Wisconsin is all about. It's seen in their custom-designed patios, their stunning garden renovations, meticulous attention to detail. They've put mulch down for me. They've moved plants around, created entire new beds. They don't just landscape for the summer. They create elegant outdoor spaces you can enjoy all year long. We'll even put up those holiday lights for you right now so you don't have to deal with it when it's cold outside. Plan your next project at Landworks Wisconsin. The teams I trust, Manny and the group out there, fantastic. LandworksWisconsin.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
All right, let's bring in our friend, meteorologist Brendan Johnson. Brendan, how you doing?
Hey. I'm well. I am well. I'm enjoying this reprieve from that heat and humidity over the weekend. I'm just getting back into the office today.
That was hideous.
It was hot.
Oh, yeah. I did some camping down in central Illinois. And when I tell you, being in a tent with that heat and humidity, oof.
Oh, man, you're a brave guy.
Oh, my gosh. It was like a hot sauna.
It was. And tough to sleep at night, when it's 75 degrees with, dew point at 70. But I got to tell you, it was so nice meeting up with my old college friends. So we still had a lot of fun despite the heat and humidity. I think next year, northern Wisconsin is the way to go. Just saying.
How hot was it? Was it even a little hotter down there further south?
Honestly, the same, guys. So we were sitting at about 95 there in central Illinois, and there's a lot of corn, and that corn sweats, and so you still have that heat and humidity, of course, in the farms of central Illinois, just like we had the dew points in the upper 60s, around 70 here in Milwaukee. So I'd say similar conditions, honestly.
Brendan, you embodied Aaron Rodgers, who likes to be in the sweat tents in Costa Rica.
That's right.
He calls it the womb that he goes into, and when he comes out, he emerges.
Oh, my God.
And, becomes a new person.
He's
Did
so
you feel
weird.
like that, Brendan?
No, actually I don't, and I'm good. I'm good. That's the last person I thought you were going to compare me to.
No, you're royalty, of course.
Hey, Brendan, We're looking at the radar right now, and it looks like a little pop-up showers out there near Fort Atkinson, the Madison area. What's going on out that direction?
Yeah, so we've got this stalled out frontal boundary really draped over south central Wisconsin, back down to the south and east towards western Racine, Kenosha counties, and then up to the northwest. So everywhere south and west of that front, it's well into the 80s. The dew points are in the 70s. You go north of that boundary, let's say by the lakefront, 60s. The dew points in the 50s. So a massive 20 to 25 degree temp spread across the area. What's happening right now, what you're seeing on radar, I'm tracking a couple of storms. One cell right now near DeForest and Windsor in northern Dane County, and then that cell you mentioned over towards Fort Atkinson, western Jefferson County. That particular cell has been going since it developed in southern Dane County. We've gotten a few photos of some funnel clouds with that cell, but it's attached to the front. So there's some localized rotation, some rising motion, no active warning on it, but real interesting because the front itself is kind of what's rotating the storm. And so we're just watching to see if there's any indication this may drop a land spout rather than a strong tornado. So we'll keep an eye on it here for the next little while, but that's really it. Otherwise, it is completely dry across the area right now. We're on the lookout for a couple of isolated storms here this evening. Strongest could produce gusty winds, heavy rain, and we may see a more of a widespread, more scattered rain here late tonight after 10 p.m.
What's the timing of that again for us to look out for that?
Yeah, so isolated storms here between now and I would say 9 o'clock. And then as we get past 10, certainly could have a few more scattered showers, rumbles of thunder through the area. We've got a low severe weather risk. It's a marginal level 1. So we're not too terribly concerned about any widespread severe storms tonight.
All right, please lead us through tonight and what the next few days look like.
Yeah, so that frontal boundary will lift a little bit farther northward tomorrow. So we may have just a couple of sprinkles tomorrow morning as that front starts to slide northward. We're down to around 65 tonight, but then mid-80s tomorrow. We could have a little bit of a cooler lake front because of that lake breeze. We're going to watch that wind profile pretty closely, but inland communities could get as high as 90 to 92 degrees. Frontal system will swing through from the northwest late tomorrow night and early Friday, so scattered showers and thunderstorms. Again, 1 or 2 could be on the stronger side. We'll wrap up this rain chance early Friday. Could have a couple of sprinkles, upper 70s there on Friday, around 80 inland, and then real nice for Saturday. Mostly sunny, highs in the low to mid 80s. And then on Sunday, could have a slight chance of a few pop-up showers and storms as temperatures rise back into the upper 80s and lower 90s. And we could see a few more rain showers carry into Monday. So planning to go to Summerfest, watch out for a couple of storms late tomorrow. Otherwise, Friday, Saturday look pretty good if you're going to be out at the festival grounds.
Meteorologist Brendan Johnson. Thanks, Brendan.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Take care.
It is 5:42.
UW-Madison is one of the country's leading hubs for supporting life-changing research and building a skilled workforce. An investment in UW-Madison helps make a healthier Wisconsin, build strong businesses, and win the war for workforce talent, not just at Madison, but across our entire state. Visit uwalumni.com/UW5 to tell your legislators to support UW-Madison in the Wisconsin state budget. That's uwalumni.com/UW5. Paid for by the Wisconsin Alumni Association.
John Mercure here for Fello Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. When it's time to upgrade your windows or your doors or both, wouldn't you like to work with the best? Work with Pella. I know what you might be thinking in these volatile times. I don't want to spend a fortune. I'm kind of holding it all tight. Well, Pella, the best in the industry, has a product line for every budget. And right now, you can get no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. So if the plan's to wait, guess what? You can get the great windows or doors now and wait to start making those payments. Wait for up to 2 years, actually. Pella believes that quality windows and doors don't have to be expensive, that everyone should be able to afford it, and Pella lives that every single day. Affordable options, products made here. You can get the look you want at the price you can afford, and with Pella's free in-home consultation, no obligation quote, and range of available financing, getting new windows and doors from Pella is easier than you think. My new sliding patio door is coming our direction in just a few weeks. Certain restrictions apply to this great deal. Ends June 30th. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Here's to experiencing it all this summer in Wisconsin. Every deliciously cheesy, rockin', magical, fireworks-filled, festival-loving moment. There's Cheese Curd Fest in Ellsworth, Strawberry Fest in Cedarburg, Festival of the Arts in Stevens Point, and the Renaissance Fair in Bristol, Honor the Earth Powwow in Hayward, Mile of Music in Appleton, Venetian Fest, Brat Fest, Summerfest. So many fests for your whole crew. Find them all at travelwisconsin.com.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious crash? It's free. Yes, free. As in, it won't cost you anything to speak with us. Not sure if you have a case? Call our team at Gruber Law Offices today. Your first call and your first consultation are always free. And you'll never pay us a fee until we win your case. If you've been seriously injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
You know the voice.
Fly ball, right field, out of here!
You know the iconic calls.
Fly ball, deep right! Back to back!
And you know he's our Brewers 360 guest on Wisconsin's Morning News. Every Wednesday at 8:45, it's Brewers broadcaster Jeff Levering. Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
Let's get you where you need to safely with our Debbie Lazaga.
All right. Well, southbound on 94, we've got a crash. It's just south of Drexel. Both shoulders are blocked right now, so just heads up with that. We've also got a crash on 94 heading eastbound from just east of Highway 16. The outer lanes are blocked right now with this one. That's backing things up back through this Highway 16 interchange. On westbound 94, that's just a solid ride out of the Marquette all the way to Highway 16. The eastbound side, at least a little bit better. It's going to be slow from the Zoo interchange all the way to about 35th Street. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
NATO summit is wrapping up. President Trump, the center of the world at NATO. He is the center of all the conversation. A couple big things happening there. Most of it was tied to defense spending, tied to GDP. But it seems like, Julie, what everybody's talking about is the comment where the guy in charge of the Secretary General of NATO referred to Trump as daddy. Let's bring in our friend Molly Nagel, ABC News White House reporter. Molly, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
So here, let's play this for you. This is Mark Ritke. He is the NATO Secretary General. Daddy has to be used sometimes. It's strong language, he said, talking about Donald Trump, discussing the F word, saying, you know what? Sometimes strong language has to be used. This is what Mark said, and then I want to get your reaction to this.
He called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Molly, can you talk about this dynamic that we've seen played out on TV the last couple of days where Donald Trump is definitely appearing to be the alpha male in the room there?
I got to say, on my bingo card for NATO, the discussion of being called daddy was not on there at all. This was something, this was a rather odd moment. You heard the president there being asked about it during his press conference. This shows a little bit about how Donald Trump and how world leaders are reacting to him. We saw Trump, on his way to NATO, post some messages that he was sent from the NATO Secretary General, talking about just how much praise he was giving him, really shows how leaders are trying to deal with the president as they meet in this global forum. And it was really interesting to see Trump there addressing that on the world stage and, clearly leaning into the oddness of the moment.
He was also given a barrage of questions about the amount of damage done to the Iran nuclear sites. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, the president really did face quite a few questions about this during that press conference. It's kind of the topic du jour. He said that the U.S. is going to resume talks with Iran, but it continued to defend the U.S. strikes on Iran, saying that, this kind of dismissing this preliminary Pentagon report that it only damaged the facilities and set them back by months. He continues to argue that they were completely destroyed, that they were obliterated. The president really pushing back on that during this press conference, and as he faced these questions about the evidence to show for, his claim that these sites were in fact obliterated.
ABC's Molly Nagel is with us from the White House. So going into the NATO summit, Molly, everybody's talking about the top of the agenda is making sure that other NATO countries agree to spend on defense spending like the United States does. And by the end of this thing now, most countries have agreed to increase their defense spending to 5% of their GDP, which is what President Trump wanted. In the past, they've balked at this. Is this a reflection of President Trump's influence?
I think it could very well be seen that way. The Secretary General talked about, was asked if President Trump deserved credit for this, and he says, well, doesn't he deserve some credit? This is something that we've all heard President Trump talk about for quite some time, both in his first administration and since being back in office. And he really touted this during his press conference. He said it was a very big focus and a historic milestone, and said this dramatic increase of this 5% goal of GDP is something that no one really thought was possible. And that world leaders were saying, you did it, sir. But he thinks that this was obviously a very positive thing moving forward, and he was very eager to tout the success of this as he was getting ready to leave the conference.
And there's still a lot going on between the Ukrainian-Russian war. I heard that the president did meet with Vladimir Zelensky today. Do you know what happened?
Yes, we do know that the two met in the sidelines of the summit. We didn't actually see this meeting play out. This took place off cameras, but we have seen readouts from President Zelensky where he called it a good meeting, and he congratulated the president on his operations in the Middle East. And they also talked about the situation on the battlefield. In his readout, Zelensky says that Putin is definitely not winning. I presented the president with facts about what was really happening on the ground. And we did see kind of a remarkable moment from the president during his press conference where he spoke with a Ukrainian reporter.
Oh, yes.
And, asked her specifically about her experience and her family's experience being from Ukraine and where they were. And it was really quite a remarkable moment to see the president interacting and acknowledging the difficult situation that many in Ukraine and Russia are facing.
Yeah, she was living in Warsaw with her family, John,
Right.
And then her husband's fighting the war, and she was asking about anti-missile defense weapons.
Yes, that's right. She the president, as she was asking this question, really tried to dig down on her story and her experience. But she asked this question, and the president, engaging with us and saying, he was wishing well to her family, and in particular her husband, who is still in Ukraine.
Molly, this comes amongst the backdrop of nations still trying to negotiate on the tariffs and favorable tariff situations. Do you see that play out indirectly with how leaders of other countries approach the president and are dealing with the president and making decisions maybe based on the broader picture of trying to make sure that their country's in a good light as negotiations go forward?
Well, it's really interesting. You would think that as he comes into this global setting with this tariff deadline looming in just 2 weeks, that would have been a big focus of this. But there's just so much activity going on in the world that, the tariffs kind of took a back seat here. But certainly that's something that you have to imagine world leaders are keeping in mind when they're engaging with the president, this effort to curry favor with him, or perhaps try and secure the best deal possible for their country. The White House has continued to say that they are arguing, or they are negotiating these deals. We have not yet seen any of these deals actually play out in any form of details from the White House. So it remains to be seen how this July deadline that we have hanging out there will actually play out and what will actually happen there. But it's certainly, I'm sure, something that world leaders were keeping in mind.
ABC's Molly Nagel at the White House. Molly, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right. You're welcome. All right. So there's their update on that. We thought we'd maybe wrap up the show with something a little on the lighter side with one of our favorite weirdos, Aaron
Who
Rodgers.
calls us sickos.
Yeah. All right. We're sickos. He's a weirdo. Aaron Rodgers in the news.
Is calling us sickos because we want to know who he married. I mean, don't you?
Everybody wants to know.
Isn't that just a normal thing? Like, hey, you got
Just out of
married. Can I see
curiosity.
a wedding photo?
Right. He's a public figure. We just want to know. We're not
Right.
sickos.
I guess I'm a sicko because I want to see the photos. Here's
Drug
Aaron
smoking,
Rodgers.
darkness worshiping weirdo.
Here he is on the Pat McAfee show
It's a sick society, isn't it? It's a sick society. I lived in the public eye for 20 years. I had public relationship. How did that work out? And now I'm with somebody who's private. Like now I'm weird, and then now the paparazzi is stalking me on the beach, trying to get a picture of her, stalking me at the workout. What is the entitlement to information that we're living in society these days, where that's like a norm? What happened to common decency about security and a personal life that we now have to dive into your details of who your wife is, and if you even have a wife, and if you're doing some sort of attention-grabbing thing because my wife is a private person, doesn't have social media? But now that's a weird thing, just because I'm not selling wedding photos to the magazines or leaking personal information or making a loving post on Instagram. And look, you want to do that? That's fine. That's your own prerogative. I don't care. That's just not what I want to do.
He sounds like my brother when he's a teenager.
He sounds like a jackass. He is a weirdo. That is the weirdest guy. And for him to actually get offended.
How is that a weird question?
Right. For him to get offended because people want to know about who he's married to, they're not prying. They're not camping out in front of his house. They're asking a question. He's the one who brought up on McAfee a couple weeks ago that he was married.
He showed his foot on the McAfee show, which he has really nice feet.
No, he doesn't. No, he does. No, he doesn't.
He does.
No one has nice feet. No one has nice feet.
He has handsome feet.
No, he doesn't. Why? What about his feet are handsome?
Just they're perfect.
How?
They're
gross.
Watch Enigma.
I did. I watched Enigma. There was the girl rubbing his feet in Enigma. Do we think that was Brittany? Was that the person he ended up married to? Because remember, we never found out who that was.
She was supered. I don't know. Is he embarrassed?
He should be embarrassed. No wonder his family doesn't talk to him. He's such a weirdo. I just had it with that guy. Haven't you? But I want more. I've had it with that guy, but I want more.
We got to see the wedding photos.
Yeah, really.
What was he wearing?
Exactly. What was she wearing? What does she look like? Inquiring minds want to know.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
2 new restaurants and a veterinarian clinic are expected to fill a multi-tenant building proposed for Drexel Town Square in Oak Creek. The names of the tenants are not yet known, with leases being finalized. A new brewery and tap room could be developed in Menominee Falls. Clockwork Brewing and Blending is proposing a 12,000 square foot building that would mainly be used for production and warehousing, but would also have a tap room with seating for nearly 200 customers. The largest companies in southeast Wisconsin garnered